What we're going to look at in this video is flash memory. And first of all, we're going to clear up the two different types of flash memory which we have available. The first one is flash ROM or EEPROM. Now, this type of memory is something which is used, and it functions basically as ROM, read-only memory. The typical usage of the device or the computer will use this as read-only memory only. And very occasionally, maybe in a digital camera, possibly once a year, once every few years, you might wipe everything and then upload the very latest version. Maybe on a set-top box you'll do this, and possibly on your computer, maybe once when you own it, you might reflash the ROM. It's very rare and it's exceptionally slow, so we just think of this as ROM, but it is one type of flash memory. However, a similar sort of technology has meant that we can also use flash memory for storage devices. And so this is flash storage. And it's also known as solid state storage. And this is what we're going to look at in this video in particular. So if we look at hard disks and SD cards first of all, then we can see that a hard disk and an SD card are obviously different things, but they do exactly the same thing. At the moment, SD cards and solid state are slightly more expensive per megabyte, which is the reason that hard disks still exist. However, we can look at the differences between the two. So hard disks, the size of them first of all. Hard disks are much bigger. They also require more power. And they're also slower. So if we have a device that we want to make, such as a tablet computer or a smartphone, one of the major problems of developing phones and developing tablet computers is power. They have to have a battery with them, and batteries are large, they take up a huge amount of the space. So if you can reduce the power required and the size required by using solid state, then suddenly you bring in tablet computing and smartphones. Also, because of the speed gains, you can use these in digital cameras with very high megapixels, and in particular, even some servers now are using solid state media because these are even faster for people to access their information on the web and for serving up a large number of users. So it's the speed, the power and the size which has then meant that solid state media is now an up-and-coming technology, and it's creating new innovative technologies such as tablets and smartphones. We also have a difference in the way that we use solid state media, and so for general devices we also have USB sticks, which again are solid state media, and these are replacing floppy disks. Now there's some real fundamental differences here. The reliability typically of a USB stick is superior, although they can sometimes malfunction, they're not perfect. If you drop them, if you were to get a tiny bit of grit inside here perhaps, you can just blow it out and it's absolutely fine. It's all contained in this one unit. It's very unlikely that you're going to lose data. A floppy disk, if you haven't seen one, if you just slot this back, you can see there's a little floppy disk inside, a magnetic disk, and were you to touch that, were you to get a grain of grit inside it, that would break it and corrupt some of the data on the disk and potentially damage the drive. So the reliability of these USB sticks or this removable storage is much better. In addition to the reliability, you have the same bonuses. It requires lower power to use, and its size is vastly bigger. So to compare sizes, a USB stick could contain now something like 8 gigabytes, whereas a floppy disk was 1.44 megabytes. So well under 1,000th of the size, and it was very common if you went to the mid-90s to see people with hundreds of these disks, and they'd be taking around possibly 10, 20 disks just to move media from one hard disk to another. Now it's all done on one USB stick. Obviously the size is a big bonus. You don't carry around big drawers which contain floppy disks. You just put one in your pocket and you're done. So there's been major innovations in removable media and in the devices that we can build, because we are now able to use solid state media to do that process.